Bella B, Bella G. Today we're going to try to figure out when it's best to do a lob, high ball, or a cippettino, a coppa pora. Okay, here we are exactly 25 meters from the rod. We have a good 10 meters, more or less half the way we have to do, between RAF, a little piece of bunker, avant green, and then another good 10 yards.
Of greens, this pulling in the direction of the shaft, but if we play just to the right already, the part of the roll goes up, okay? And so now that you've picked up a petiole, what do? I rule out the possibility of pulling to the flag, but safe shot a little bit more to the right of the rod. I just focus on dosing the force. Well, I will never put it given, however, I no longer have the bunker in front ball a couple of meters. I can still try to do approaches and...
I like that. What if I told you to lob over it now instead?
Steps, no problem. I do a little more open stick change, a little more lost. You pull this time instead, direct on the shaft. More chance to put the ball near, more obstacles to jump over.
Which one do you think is the best, and for what kind of player?
This case a lot does the lie of the ball so badly, plays ball, let's forget too high shots, play it safe. Secondly, player skill tends to stroke to run is a little easier, so it pulls us off any obstacle, and even a shot not taken well allows us to roll anyway while the ball in the green and having no obstacles in front, even if a little flapping. All in the end. And third thing, state of mind, I missed the last few. 3 high approaches making flapper this. I will never play it quiet, so better to pull off obstacles directly instead. Ball situation put fairly, well, confidence, and a little fingertip, I feel it ready, tack, and it rolls to the shaft.
Tack, roll perfect. All right, how about we move behind the bunker instead? Where is it? That's when I want to see you take a running shot. All right, I want to see you go. There, I knew I was getting screwed. All right, let's go. But instead, here we have a change of...
Or situation. Darn, you make me do this shot this time. All bunker, very little green available. In this case, what would suit me now, I make open to the obbone. Yes. I would say it came then, not even.
So, a perfect shot. However, the difficulty coefficient of this shot is, I won't say maximum, but if it's not a minus, it's a little close here. But does it decrease the difficulty in case of a lower stroke? Then, as before, it depends. Position of the ball, let's say. We keep thinking of a ball that is not exactly disastrously placed. But let's also say we're not a player who has all these skills, so we're not really Phil Mickelson. So beyond just having fun, although the shot you threw wasn't that far off. So beyond having fun, which in my opinion is part of the game, and sometimes it's even there to pay for a bad shot. However, for the pleasure of having tried something fun. Are we clear?
If they are.
Yes, okay. If we want to think a little bit more about the score, which at the end of the day for many people the fun also comes through making a good score. Taking a pick with a ball that's not too badly put together, aiming for the center of the green and giving it a bang. Which, if you get lucky, okay, this is very
clear,
lucky.
this very strong.
You can get it to tap just on the avant green and sliding. It doesn't even go that far. In my case, I even got the shaft, whatever, joking. But let's pretend it also went in the middle of the green, or even in the middle of the green. You still have a putt if you've practiced enough and you feel comfortable that on average from 10 yards, 2 putts you make. All things considered, going away with a near certainty of 3 shots from a position like that, we kiss our elbows at any level.
Now I ask you this question. What do you think are the right bosses to make this shot here? This is a very good question. Better the pitch of the series, better the wedges maybe.
So let's start with an assumption. When you make a running stroke, playing with the stick with the classic specifications of a special wedge, which has to cut grass in some way anyway. Okay? And so it tends to bounce a little less. It's not the best, So if I'm going to make a running shot and the ball's not badly placed, I prefer sticks from the series, even if you have sticks that are a little bit chubby. Okay, so oversized or sticks that are not really small anyway. Why? Because they're specifically made for gliding. They have a lot of hull underneath, like a ship. They bounce and move forward. Whereas special wedges, even if you have a special wedge that's a little bit closed, like a 50 or a 54, okay, without going up to 56 or 60, at those I would make them do more the strokes, where either it has to be dug and so it fits. Maybe it was put a little bit wrong. You want to make a running stroke, however you also have to dig. Otherwise
You need a little bit of mass to get to the ball.
To the ball you don't get there, or when you then have to pop the ball, then they're all the life of the special wedges. In fact, if you go on somewhat special shots, you need the special wedge, of course.
So when we do standard shots, we play iron.
A standard iron, well, better than that. But I want to see you now, though, from a position that I've seen so many people play in the, let's say, not the most congenial way, which is we're in front of the green. Pretty easy, and yet they shoot these super high balls because it's fun. I'm going to go do it. Let's go for it. This, the classic situation where I've seen a sea of people pull lobs like there's no tomorrow, which is not necessarily wrong. However, let's see. Come on, throw this lobbing in the air and let's see what happens. There. This guy has hands that scare me. All right then. Perfect ball, shaft height, but it's logical.
Let's reason. Well, what's there in front and what would happen that I go in case of mistake then in front? Usually all free field iron and the ball can run without major problems. But
mind you, as long as you have a ball that flies, you may as well just go and taste more or less what the green is like in the landing zone. But if you want to make it run, you will have to be careful what the course is like, even in the areas where it will make its first mostly bounce and then where it will start to run. In this case, for example, here in the front, there's a nice pachugo, a little bit of pichopaggio, just wet so it doesn't burn. So what happens? That now I'm going to make you tap to run, and so.
How do you play this song to be careful not to make it too low, run, make it bounce back exactly in the wet area, but still be able to get some loft to kind of jump the first little piece.
It touched. Look,
by so
much so, it touched the Avon green, and already it's practically, I won't say halfway, but halfway to the green. He ran much less than I expected.
Tavi, so in this case the area to control is the one in front there, so wait.
They tell me, but the lob, you always pull the lob. So one, it's fun, so it fits, okay? Two, sometimes it leverages the problem. For example, here it's a problem to have the wetness in front. It's obviously not the easiest shot. Why? Try to give me a shave just easy.
Both of them.
No, again with this. I want a shot just low, beating out. Of that proprio without... Yes, let's pretend like you have a ferruto. You have taken away the pachugo problem because the ball at that point almost goes in. At that point it comes in so low, it's a
that it
dry,
doesn't bounce.
dodgy.
Only on the
then
one.
on the water, so...
Kind of water playing to understand, and that both too soft and also if too hard exact. So it also takes away her concrete effect, bounces back in for C therefore.
Does. So what needs to be understood? You have to understand what is the best shot, but also how to play it, because there is low shot and low shot. High stroke, we have it figured out. It comes there in flight. Who cares? Low shot, the high of the ball, which in this case we are in iron, so it's always perfect. And all the conditions that get us from here to the hole.
The only control of the ball even here is whether soft or hard the ground, the inferior ball as bad as it may be put. However, it is always put relatively well, but in the case of a high approach, if we are on ground, perhaps a little too soft. The risk of the Oncastro is around the corner, so be careful. Check that however the ground is right, that at least you manage to brush the stick well. And now Gigi, we change the area a little more, maybe easy. However, even there are problems. The there is a bunker in front, I have to...
Of course. This is the idea that everyone has, as if the bunker also extends upwards, but
Jump, high bank.
cool, but no, but it's more or less straight. So let's say from here, almost always the feeling is that, gosh, I have to fly a lot. But in reality here, we have about 10 meters to get to the green area, and then we have 15 meters to get to the shaft. We have always shot more or less 25-yard shots, however made from different positions. Here, if the lie is set up right, all in all, I would leave the wedge and I would go with a pigeonholing to run, because this piece is going to skip me anyway. What do you say, B?
It fits great. The check to do here is see what the ratio is between flight and roll. So if the ball can fly about a third, the distance it flies on grass, on bunkers, on knolls, on water is practically identical. Obvious that in this group here, you need to have a lot of space for the ball to run.
And the ball rolling. But it's also true that you might find it either put not so well, or anyway, it might be psychologically a little bit easier to get there. And say, you know what? I fly it more than half the way and at least get it out of my system. Let's repeat that. One thing first, absolutely. Your feeling, that's right. If you are a high ball player, you tend to play it as many times as you can. For two reasons. One, you have fun. Two, you feel confident. Okay? And then, and three, you've practiced it a lot. By dint of playing it, you're basically practicing it. You're a low ball player like I am, for example. I try to roll it all the time, even inside, even inside the bunkers. I do anything because it seems easier to me. So, how you get on the ball, this affects so much. Always choose the shot you feel most confident with. Better firm than precise.
For exercises.
For example, I would feel here quite. That is, I don't feel comfortable taking a high shot. It seems so stupid to me that I already know I'm in danger of doing damage. Just to show you though, I make a high ball. Right now it came out too high and it definitely stayed halfway.
Risk is just that you go and lose a little bit of perception of where to drop the fly ball and make a shot that lands a little bit after the bunker but doesn't have enough to roll. The ball all the way to the flag.
And mind you, it is true that our eye and our head is focused on the fact that you have to fly the bunker. But it is also true that we are not stupid. Even if we are not thinking about it, we have seen the bunker behind. Or even worse, going over the bunker behind. So what we definitely don't want to do is a top or a strong ball that we end up in a situation like the first one we started in. Okay? Which is a disaster.
Sure, always you can close the loop and respond.
Then we risk not letting the video speak. Come on, turn under the touch. So, ball position in this case put bet all life a shot to make almost a bunker exit. So a ball, when we mean exit from the bunker, is taking a ball a little bit dirty. We already know we're going to take it bad. We increase the speed a little bit. We make the special wedge dig, the one that cuts the most. Be careful to pick the right bounces. We will also do a video on these things, but we have also done some already. Properly placed ball, when you have a way to roll it, as long as that's what you feel like. Benny, give me a good recap for which players, from which positions, what.
Then let's start with an average assumption if we miss the shot. The run shot does a little less damage than the high approach shot on almost every position's first thing to check. You are players. You prefer high ball, low ball, that is the first step, and then you prefer to make a lot more low shots to run, and instead we want to do high balls and let the real stick boss work. So we play like this, and the nice thing that in the long game we are exactly opposite you. Low balls I shoot in the air is okay. Anyway, second thing, we control the lie of the ball.
So, position of the ball on the ground.
There are some shots for which it is very difficult to get under the ball, so ground too hard, ground too soft ball, a little grassy or things like that. Grassy ball, attention, stop all explanation of grassy ball. That ball a little more hairy than usual.
That is the ball.
Is a little down in the hoe, down in the raffle. And so it's hard to be able to predict how it's going to bounce the stick, especially at very low speeds. True, Then we also have to control what kind of stroke we have ahead and not get too shut down by just looking at the flag. So let's reason how far of flight the ball goes, how much of roll you can play, even just to the right or left of the hole. Be a little bit easier. You can also play towards maybe the center of the green, not toward the pole. Why not? It could be a choice.
When? Yes, do it. Also depending on how many, pass me that term, strokes you can spend. You're high in handicap, you've taken 2 good shots, you're close to the green, you're in a somewhat difficult position. Don't go and get caught up in a champagne shot just because it's fun. Do you want to do it? Absolutely do it. We are the first ones who just have fun. And we also give enough of a damn about the scores. But if you want to bring it home, look. Always try to take a step back and look a little bit more broadly and say, okay, where is it that I can aim where then the next shot comes easy to me? Okay, I can go and make 2 putts. Okay, so the center of the green on average allows us to make 2 putts with some ease, and that leads me to be facilitated to get to that place. So the mix of the two in proportion and repeated over time should give me a competitive advantage.
Not the last thing to choose what you still have to have fun. So
Have fun.
if we have to make a badly, we don't want to do it, take the other, pull free space to creativity. If in that case there you like to pull a wood 3 rather, because you enjoy that thing, there pull it. If for case the right shot comes out, your fellow players will buy you a beer because you made a great shot and it fits.